and welcome to Tash Life 2. Today we are going to be making kefir. This is pronounced a few different ways, kefir, kefir. There are probably other ways as well, I'm not sure what they are, but I just call it kefir. What is kefir? Kefir is a SCOBY that is made from probiotic yeast and bacteria. What it does is it ferments milk and makes it more probiotic and healthier for us, and it is a fermented food, so it's more healthy. What do we need to make this? We need a spatula or a wooden spoon or a stainless steel spoon or something like that. We need a bowl. I like this one, it's nice and deep. The strainers don't go all the way down to the bottom, so I have some space there for drainage. And I have two different strainers here. This is a nylon one, I think I bought it from Spotlight, and this one is stainless steel. I did used to use this one before I got this one. It's not recommended to use metal that is not stainless steel. Some people don't even like using metal at all, but you do need to be more gentle with the grains with metal because it will break them up more. So we're going to put this one to the side. I'm not going to use that one. I have these containers here. They are decor containers. I bought them from Woolworths about 4 years ago, but I did see last week they are still on the shelf. We have some full cream milk. You can use any kind of milk that you like, really. If you can't have dairy, you can use nut milks and coconut milks, but you do need to run lactose milk through the grains every once in a while because the grains eat the lactose. So if you don't do that, you will be starving them and they will die. So even if you're not going to use dairy milk, you will need to ferment the grains with dairy milk every second time or every third time or something. Okay, I think that's all I usually use. So I'll bring you in close so you can see what we're doing here, up close and personal, and I'll just set you up. Okay, right, the first thing we're going to do is I have my grains here that have fermented, and they are quite fermented. I've had them in the fridge. I will put on the screen here different stages of fermentation, and all of these are fine for straining. The more fermented it is, the more tart and sour it will be, which is how my family likes to consume it. We pretty much ferment it as far as it will go, but you can stop a lot earlier than that and it will be a lot creamier and less tart. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm just going to give it a stir up to sort of mix everything together a bit. It makes it a bit easier for straining. And that's probably enough. You can see that the milk and the fermented milk and the whey, the curds and whey and kefir grains are all mixed together now. So we've got our strainer, and I do 2 litres at a time. You don't have to do that much. I do it for the family. My partner takes it to work. My kids drink it. Sometimes we put it in smoothies. So we drink a lot. We've been drinking it for a while. You do need to start slow because it will take a little while for your tummy to get used to it. You might get an upset tummy if you drink too much too soon. But we're just going to pour that in. And you can see all the lumps in there. That is the grains and the curds. And we're just going to, you can see there, coming out. And I just keep going until we've got to the end of our container. So what I'm doing here, you can stir like this, but I'm just kind of, I guess it's like a folding. If you're folding a cake mix, it would be like a folding mixture. So I'm just sort of scraping the grains off the bottom of the strainer so that they don't block all the holes. We want to get it all out. So that's pretty much all of it. When I get to this stage, I like to scrape the bottom of the strainer because you do get the thick curds as they're sort of being pushed through off of the grains. They do kind of stick on the bottom, and it does make it a bit harder to strain the last bit. Now, that's probably about as far as I would strain it. Some people like to rinse it with water. I don't recommend that. You shouldn't be putting water anywhere near this. But some people also rinse it with milk. That's probably okay, but I think it's just unnecessary. So this, let's have a good look. You've got, it's a bit like cauliflower or rice, like a bit like cauliflower rice, this one. I have had it sort of, it looks, in the past it has sort of looked a bit like noodles, where they sort of all grow together and they're all sort of stringy and noodly. I don't know why they've changed, but that is that's how they are. They still work, they're still fine, they're still happy. So yeah, what I'm going to do with that now is I'm going to put it into my empty container. You want to get as much out as you can. It's hard to get all of it, and you will get baby grains go through the sieve into the milk, and you'll be drinking grains anyway, but that's fine. You can do that. If you get too many grains, because they do grow, you can put them in smoothies, you can feed them to your animals, your chooks, you can give them to your friends, and sell them on marketplace, you know. There's a whole bunch of things. You can put them in your compost. If you don't want to eat them and you don't have anywhere else to put them, you can put them in your compost. And you can put them down the drain, but that's just a waste. So why would you do that? So we're finished with the strainer. I'll just put that to the side. So now we're going to put our milk in here. And I have a little measurement that I use on the side. These containers have measurements on them. I don't know if you can see it there. So because I've been using this container for such a long time, I know what measurement to go to so that it doesn't overflow this when I fill it up because sometimes that has happened. I just get too much. So that's how much I do at a time, and that is probably a shade under 2 litres. And then you just stir it up, make sure it's all in there, combined, make sure all the grains are off your spatula. Now, when I first started doing this, I used to just click it on like that, and that's fine, but I now do this and I don't have any problem whatsoever. When I put it in the fridge, it does suck in a little bit, but I don't have any problems. Some people like to put a muslin cloth over with a band. I don't think it really matters, so long as, I mean, I have small children, so I like to make sure this can't get knocked over or spilt, or them take the lid off and mess around with it, because we don't want that. So I do click it on now, and I haven't had any problems since I've been doing that. So I'll just put that aside. I will put this in the pantry. That's where I ferment it, in the pantry. A cool, dark place is what is recommended. So we'll do that. And then I will show you how I put this in. This is like a juice jug, I think. Is there measurements? There are measurements on the side. You probably can't see them. Just here. It just, the lid clicks on and off. This opens and I can pour. So it's like a juice jug. Obviously, I have had kefir in here. I'm not washing it. You will know when it needs a wash. I mean, some people wash it every time. I don't bother. But this will get very thick. This part will get very, very thick and full of curds, I guess. And that's when I know it's time. Or, you know, you just know it gets a bit yucky. So you can see I do have a little bit in there. So I know from experience that it's going to overflow. And I know my partner likes to take it home, take it to work anyway. So in these shaker cups, it's like these. I think this is also Systema. I don't think they look like this anymore. These ones are quite old. They have like a newer version, but it's the same thing. It's just a shaker cup. Oh my goodness. So I'm just going to pour the leftover bit into there. And this does, when you're doing 2 litres worth at a time, it does take a little bit of practice, but you can see in there where I've tipped it out, the little dots in the bottom, that is baby kefir grains. But that's okay. It's just more probiotics. You don't taste them or anything. You can even see in the lid, there are baby kefir grains in there. Put it on. And I'll fill this up for hubby, ready to go in the morning. Okay, now the other thing you can do with these, if you have too many excess, you can freeze them. And this is the way I've frozen it. I mean, it looks terrible. It's been frozen for quite some time, but I have no problem. Like, I would not be surprised if this regenerated, like reactivated quite well. So I just keep it in there for emergency in case something happens to my kefir. I have heard stories where people house sit or their teenage sons or whatever, they think that it's rotten milk and they tip it down the sink, or that it gets dropped on the floor, or anyway, I have several of them. Like, this is not my only one. I do have quite a few, and I mean, it looks terrible, but I think it'll reactivate fine. I think that's it for today. We've got our 3 things left. Yeah. I can't really think of anything much more to say about it today than that. If you've got any questions, put them down in the comments and I'll try and address them in another video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.